What things was he teaching you at that time before you started your first club that allowed you to increase client base?
Well, my biggest problem to him, my biggest complaint was, because he asked me one morning on a Monday, he came on a Monday morning instead of 2:30 in the afternoon like he normally does. And he goes, "Why are you so tired?" I was like, "Jim, I went to bed at 4 o'clock and now it's 6 a.m. and I'm here. You're my first client. I went to bed because, I work at this club, I've told you, et cetera. And by the time the club is done at 2 a.m. and by the time we clean up and whatever." And I'm complaining. And he goes, "That's because you don't know how to sell." I go, "If I had more personal training clients, I could quit that club." And so he starts teaching me sales and marketing. But I'm like, of course, like a bonehead young man, I go, I can't control how many people come into this gym. They sell the number of members they do. And then, every member gets a free personal training session. They gave me a script. These people tell me they got to go think about it or talk to their husbands. And so they do.
Yeah.
And they never come back.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just kind of griping and showing him that I can't control the lead volume. He goes, "How many clients do you have?" I go, "With you included, there's 4. He goes, "You've never asked me for a referral." I've got C-level managers. I didn't know what C-level managers were. Then I go, "What's a C-level?" He goes, "All my executives that I can refer to you. I've got employees, my sales reps, so I'll make a lot of money. I could refer to you." He goes, "I bet you've never asked any of your clients for referrals." I go, "Nope." He goes, "Why don't you ask them for referrals?" He goes, "Referrals should be your number one source of business." Until this day now, all of my companies, with the exception of Trulian Supplements, referrals are the number one source of business for us. Because if you, and he taught me something so amazing, man. He said, you need to set in an expectation of doing business with you. I was blown away because I'm thinking, dude, if you're giving me money, what expectation do I need to set? You probably have the expectation on me. Like, show up, give me the workouts, be enthusiastic, tell me what to eat, tell me how to correct my form. Turns out I needed to have an expectation. We need to have expectations on our clients, on our customers. And he gave me the script. He said, so it would be, "Hey, Dave, welcome aboard. As soon as the money's transacted, welcome aboard as I help you achieve the fitness and fat loss results that you want. Can I count on you to help me achieve the results that I want, which is to help 1,000 people here in La Habra, California," which is where the gym was, "to help 1,000 people here in La Habra, California get their fitness and fat loss goals?" And Dave says, "Yes." So now I've set an expectation. So 6 weeks go by, we do your first body fat test and we weigh you and strength test. We see positive results. I go, "Hey, Dave, remember I said as I help you achieve your goals, can you help me achieve mine? Or the 3 people that you can introduce me to, and I'll give them all a free session." And all I would do is say, "Hey, just go sign up at the gym." And then, so I get them a free week to do a session with me. And then if they liked it, go sign up at the gym, and then I'll do this. And I would lower the price of the gym membership. I'd take it off the personal training package. So if the membership was going to be $200 a month for 1 time a week of personal training, I would say, look, you just have to pay $160 a month for personal training, because I could adjust it. Yeah. It impacted my commission, because I would also get 10% commission in addition to the $1,250. It impacted my commission, but now go use that money to buy a gym membership and you became a client. So he taught me referral generation, how to set expectations. And then later he taught me how to put out lead boxes and what those lead box forms need to say, because this is pre-internet, right? Yeah. Now we're going to early 2000s, like 1999, 2000. But the internet hasn't really, like, search engines, social media hasn't popped off. And so I was putting lead boxes in health food stores, thinking, if you're health-minded, fitness-minded, you're going to probably take me up on a free personal training session here at Premier Results, my personal training gyms. And no one was doing it. He goes, "You know where people would want to fill out that form?" I go, "Where?" He goes, "Where they feel guilty." "Where do they feel guilty?" I go, "Oh, if they're eating burgers, pizza, stuff like that." I put 50 lead boxes in just fast food restaurants. And I would tell, and God, he gave me so many great scripts. He goes, "Tell the fast food restaurant owner or operator, you can come and work out at my gym for free. If you have a gym membership somewhere else, we can't train you because I have to pay a trainer, but you can come work out for free." They get a free membership. Because of that, they're hosting the lead box. The lead box forms said, 1 free personal training session. Just check off if you want to lose weight, build muscle, and then give us your name and phone number. And then I would call them and say, "Hey, guess what? You got a free personal training session, for your results." But he gave me so many great scripts, man. And so all of a sudden I'm learning referral generation, marketing strategies. And then the first gym that I opened up in San Diego was in Vista. And in Vista, there's a courthouse, and there's a lot of lawyers there who ended up becoming our clients. And so I would encourage these lawyers to refer their people to us. And so we had high net worth people coming to us. And so Jim Franco was like, dude, why don't you just raise the price? They can afford it. He goes, all of your gyms don't have to be the same price. That blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were like, let's say in Encinitas, which is also a little beach town in San Diego, yeah, people didn't have as much money. It's a little hippie town. And so our cost of personal training was like $30 a session, right? Back then. But in Vista, where people had more money, $55 a session. And not all this was like foreign to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that there's something called price elasticity based on where you're located, right? For example, you go to an airport and all of a sudden this bottle of Fiji water
Mm-hmm.
is $85 or whatever, right? But that same bottle is $6 at a grocery store. And so Jim taught me so much, man, but he became my business partner in that first location.
How long did it take you to build the client base to have that first location? Because he wasn't going to be a partner if you had 4 clients.
No. So
that had to scale.
yeah, that had to scale. And so while building out that location, we put lead boxes out.
Yeah.
And then we got all these local business owners also to start referring people to us. He had me do a grand opening sale. This is so crazy because I told you he's in the software industry. But the software industry that he's in is in automotive, specifically, like say you go to AutoZone or Pep Boys or wherever, and you go, hey, I've got a 79 Toyota pickup. I need an air filter for it. They punch it in and they go, you need a FRAM, and then this is the FRAM number that you need.
Mm-hmm.
He updated those software every time new cars came out. His company did that. It was one of 3 companies that did that. But he was the big dog in that industry. But before that, he was in the automotive industry. He opened gas stations, service centers. And when he would open up a service center, he would have a big grand opening party. And he would get all the local businesses to come on a particular Saturday morning and set out a table for them. All they had to do was, he's like, hey, all these different shops are coming. And so if they're each bringing 50 of their customers, all of you are going to get access to all these different customers. Of course, Jim would now showcase his new service gas station to all these people. So he had me set up 1, lead boxes out, and I was generating leads while we were building out the gym. Number 2, I was getting all the local business owners, what he calls a syndicate. Get your syndicate to start talking about you. Like, hey, there's a gym opening up, Premier Results. I'm going to work out there. And by the way, have you heard about it? It's coming. Just get them talking about it. And then number 3, when the doors open up that Saturday, have a grand opening. And the grand opening was get all these local businesses to come, offer, one person is going to win 6 months of free personal training. Everyone else, so put your name on a raffle. That became my lead form. And within 60 days, first location was breaking even. By the end of 90 days, we're like $4,000 or $5,000 profitable. And then I was like, holy shit, now I've got a process here, right? And so I said, Jim, I'm going to open up a second location a year and a half later. With all due respect, I don't want you as a business partner. I not only gave you your money back, your $50,000 with 8% interest, but you're also my 50% business partner in this one. I'm kind of getting shafted.
Yeah.
And he did make me a shark. That was a sharky deal.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be my 50% business partner, I now know
it's a sharky deal, but it paid off in the long run.
In the mentorship, the coach. Like when I didn't have confidence, I could turn to him and be like, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Right. And that's what my coaching clients do to me. Like they're buying my years of experience. And so, it was a sharky deal, but I knew I couldn't open up location 4, 5, 6, with him. And so he gave me the blessing. Till this day, by the way, this past April, he turned 80. I went to his birthday party. Still calls me kid. I'm 49 now. He's 80. Still calls me kid. Still sharp as a tack. Still working at Autolog, like less hours. Still working out at that same La Habra, but it's not a LA Fitness anymore. It's called like Esporta, whatever. But the dude's pattern of life has not changed. Just enthusiastic, happy-go-lucky, life of the party. And I realized there's a big lesson there too. Like you can become an old curmudgeon-y man at the age of 25, 26, 30, or you could be a young man at the age of 80. This guy, when I was training him at LA Fitness, he would come in. And like I said, I'd always wait by the double doors where they check in. And as I'm walking with him, like, okay, this is what we're going to train today. Let's say shoulders and back. I'm walking with him. He would just like break off. And I look and he's talking to some woman who's like on the ab crunch machine. So I just kind of wait, thinking that might be his daughter. That might be someone he knows. He comes back to me I'm like, hey, who's that? He's like, I don't know, but she's hot. Isn't she beautiful? Like, I heard, like the guy was just a flirt, just a ladies' man, just he's everything. And I realized like this guy's a stud. Like I've modeled so much of my life after him in terms of how he connected with people, how he's very shrewd as an entrepreneur, very disciplined. His pattern of life never changes, but he made everybody feel special. Everybody from front desk girl to me as a personal trainer, that he would give me some of his time in between sessions, all the way to just like being flirty and the man in the gym.
Okay. So now if we fast forward, you go from that one location to 5, right?
Yeah.
And then it's acquired.
Yeah.
And that becomes another turning moment, you know, a defining moment that comes through that. Were you, before that acquisition, were you working with gym owners online before that, or was it after that?
It was almost during that time, and here's why. So at this point now, we're 2003, and now I can talk about Crunch Fitness. At the time was not the Crunch Fitness it is today. If you remember back then, Crunch Fitness was owned by Bally's Total Fitness, right? Bally's was a conglomerate, a gym conglomerate. They're no longer in existence because of the shady shit they did, but Crunch was a subsidiary of Bally's. Crunch was trying to become like these high-end gyms, like almost what Equinox might be today, but on a small footprint, which is what I had. But they weren't looking to buy my gyms. What they bought from me was another thing that Jim Franco taught me. He said, Bedros, when you build your business, build it with legs. I had no idea what that means. I'm like, Jim, what the fuck does legs mean on the business, right? He goes, meaning that it can run on its own. 1, automate it so that you have managers running it so it can operate without you. 2, make sure you have EFT. I'd never heard of that term, electronic fund transfer. And I, once again, stubborn young man, I pushed back. If you remember in the 80s, early 2000s or 90s and early 2000s, when we sold personal training sessions, it was blocks of like 5 and 10. And if you're lucky, you're selling someone 20 sessions. And then once they're on session 18 or 19 or 20, your butthole's puckered because now you have to take your trainer hat off and put on your sales hat and like, hey, Mr. Jones, do you want another 20 pack? And he hope that he says yes so you can pay your rent. And so he goes, look, LA Fitness is charging me a membership. I'm like, well, they're charging you $40 a month. Who the hell is going to pay like $300, $400, $500, $600 a month on EFT? He's like, I would. He goes, but you guys just did it paid in full. So that's it. He goes, but you could have had me for the rest of my life at LA Fitness. LA Fitness could have had me the rest of the life, right? And I realized in that moment, he's right. I was just transferring my broke mindset onto everyone else. Well, because I can't afford to pay a membership of $500 to $800 a month. Neither can anyone else. That's an absolute lie. And so, but I took Jim's advice. And once again, I broke the pattern of what our industry did. I went from 60-minute sessions to 30-minute sessions. And I have to credit LA Fitness for that. I went from selling blocks of sessions to selling 12-month programs, where we would finance you basically in-house. I would say, all right, Dave, you know, you're going to pay $600 a month for the next 12 months. Would you like to pay in full and get 10% off and get a 13th month free? And then I would hope you would say yes. But if you didn't, and most didn't, I would say, all right, well, you're going to pay $300 a month. So in your first and last month, and then you'll have 10 more payments of $300 to go. So I'd take $600 and then 10 more payments to go. What Crunch Fitness bought from me was my receivables. That's what they bought from me, because they knew these people are committed to a contract and they could just consolidate my 5 gyms into 2 gyms. They're in San Diego. And these are how we now become high-end affluent members of that gym. They were buying out all these like private studios. And if you had clients on EFT, contractually obligated, they would buy you out. If you didn't, they'd take a pass on you.
Yeah.
Look how lucky I got that I listened to Jim, built my business with legs, so that they could buy me out.
Well, that's an important lesson, because the receivables end up being the part of your valuation. Without that, you don't know if after those 20 sessions that person's going to renew or not, especially if somebody else is acquire it. So you invest in companies as an investor, you're like, well, fuck, I got to assume, you know, this goes to a different name, they're not coming.
Yeah, there's always going to be a level of shrinkage. I don't know what that shrinkage is going to be. So I have to factor it into the valuation when I make investments now.
So with that being more automated, when did you start working with other gym owners to scale their business?
So once I sold my gyms, and that was my first exit, acquisition. Do you remember IDEA? The international dance, and idea association of fitness or whatever.
Yeah.
They later got acquired by either they acquired Ace or Ace acquired them. It doesn't matter. But Idea had the Idea Journal, the magazine for personal trainers. And they ran an article on me that a local personal trainer here in San Diego, because they're San Diego based, built and sold his 5 personal training companies. Yay for him, right? And at the time, I was actually looking to open up more gyms in San Diego. Again, just bigger footprint, group training, different model. And people like gym owners who read those articles would reach out to me and they go, hey, can you teach me what you did? And my only question was, are you located in San Diego? If you weren't a competitor, if you were like some other part of the United States, I would just coach them for free. Little did I know, I didn't even know there was like consulting businesses back then or coaching businesses. So I would coach them for free. They would say, how much do you charge? I'm like, I don't know what to charge, but I'll just send you the images of I'll email you the images of my lead box. I'll tell you where to put the lead boxes, because I know your instincts are going to tell you health food stores and stuff like that, but don't do that. You want to get into the fattiest, restaurants as possible where people feel guilty after eating all that shit. And they're like, dude, this is awesome. Well, when I realized that I'm not going to open up more gyms, I realized there's money to be made here, because I started asking them, like, what would you pay me? Oh, I'll pay you $500 a month if you teach me, like $500 a month. Let me do the math. Like, how many coaching clients can I get at $500 a month? So then I created a blog called ptpower.com 2 years later, by 2005. And I lived off that $600,000, which is what I got for selling my gyms. While I'm living off that, I'm coaching. Now I'm like $300 a month, $400 a month, $500, $600. I got to $1,200 a month for gym owners, for coaching. And at one point I had 50 clients at $1,200 a month. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm making really good money. 2005, I started a blog called ptpower.com. It's still up. We just don't put content on there, but it still ranks as one of the top blogs for words like personal trainer business, fitness marketing, stuff like that for my industry, fitness sales, personal training sales. And that became my lead source. There was a little opt-in on the right-hand corner that says, get my 5 strategies to build your personal training business. And so you read my blog posts. Every day I'd write a 1,500-word blog post, post it up there, and, comments and stuff. And I, again, use the Disney way strategy. Like, there was no comment that wasn't answered. Even if people were like trolling me in the comment box, I was still going back and forth with them. And eventually I built an email list of 5,000 personal trainers. And at that point, I hired my first real business coach, Joe Polish, out of Tempe, Arizona. And I went to my first mastermind with Joe Polish. And in that room, and this is now by 2007, right? In that room is Dean Graziosi, Brandon Bouchard, Wyatt Woodsmall, who at the time was teaching Tony Robbins all the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming stuff that he would do off stage. He anchors the stage, positive side of the stage, negative side of the stage. I didn't even know what NLP was. So I walk in, I'm like, fuck, I am in over my head. And it was something like $15,000 for the year. But when you got 50 clients paying you $1,200 a month, I eventually went to $1,500 a month. Like, I had enough money to afford that mastermind. And I was like, okay, if Jim Franco coached me, like, just on the sidelines without any structure, and I've gotten here now, built businesses, sold them, coaching and consulting now. Maybe if I hire a real mentor who can teach me this stuff, a direct response marketing, because I had learned about direct response marketing. One of the books that Jim Franco referred me to was by Jay Abraham. And Jay Abraham talked about a dude named Gary Halbert and Dan Kennedy. Man, I bought their books and a whole new world opened up to me. Not just marketing as in like branding, but like every dollar is accountable to bring in more dollars, right? What direct response marketing is, the IDA effect, interest, attention, desire, action when you're writing copy. Like, I learned copywriting. I just went down this rabbit hole. And so Joe Polish was a disciple of Dan Kennedy, the legendary copywriter. And so I'm like, Dean Graziosi, don't I see you on late night infomercials, like selling these books, like how to buy homes with no money down? He's like, yep. He's got these little spectacles on, and I'm like, holy shit. Brandon Bouchard, I didn't know who he was, but I, knew that there was something amazing about him. Wyatt Woodsmall, Dan Sullivan was in there, right? Like, legends, man, legends. And I'm like this little minnow in this ocean. And I was intimidated to show up on day 2 because I was like, these guys, like, they're fucking making millions. And I'm like barely scraping a couple $100,000, right? And so I'm talking about guys, I think I want to use the internet to start marketing. I got this blog, I build email addresses, and they're doing still mostly direct response marketing through snail mail.
Yeah.
Letters in the mail, right? And then infomercials on TV. And so like, I'm the youngest guy, so I'd taken to the internet more. By 2008, Facebook comes about, YouTube comes about. And I started making YouTube videos, Facebook videos, and I realized I'm building a little tribe there. And so I say, I got these coaching clients, 50 of them, but I'm on the phone with them all the time. And I'm always telling them the same stuff. Like, I want to put them in some kind of a group like this, a mastermind. Like, how do I start a mastermind? And Dean goes, here, and he gives me 3 sheets of paper. He goes, I have a mastermind for home investors, like people who want to buy homes and stuff, apartments. I got over 1,000 people in this mastermind paying $1,000 a month. I'm like, holy fuck, right? So by this point now, my email list is going to about 8,000 people. He goes, take this, change everything from real estate to personal training business, and email it out to your list. And do it over a 1-week period, 3 emails over a 1-week period, and then close people over the phone into a coaching program. And then from there, Joe Polish takes over. So Dean gives me his sales copy, like the email copy. It was direct response, snail mail, but I turned it into email copy. Joe Polish is like, here's how you run a 1-year mastermind, 2 days at a time, 3 times a year. He gives me the formula of that. He tells Eunice, his assistant, hey, give him all the forms that we're filling out here. So he gave me his blessing to use all the forms. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to have a mastermind. That mastermind became a mastermind by 2010 called the 7-Figure Formula Mastermind. And the goal was to take a gym owner and help them get to $83,333 a month in EFT, put them on pace for 7 figures a year. And if you can do that, I would almost bet that you're going to do 20 to 25% profit margins off that, which is a really good salary for us personal trainers back then, right? I had at the peak of the 7-Figure Formula Mastermind, I had 189 members in it paying $1,800 a month. And dude, I had an assistant. I had 2 other employees. In 2009, we put on the following year, 2009, we put on our first event called Fitness Business Summit. And the reason for that was I applied to speak at the NSCA World Conference. They sent me a rejection letter. I applied to speak at IRSA. They sent me a rejection letter. I applied to speak at IDEA Conference. They sent me a rejection letter. All 3 of the rejection letters were personal trainers don't want to learn marketing and sales. They want to learn more about posterior chain and how the muscle fucking contracts and all that. I'm like, I've got every certification and I was broke. This automotive software sales guy taught me everything I know to be able to be successful. You know, because on the forum, if you want to be a speaker, they go like, what are you going to teach?
Yeah.
I'm not teaching kettlebells. There's a fucking million people teaching kettlebells and posterior chain and how the adenosine triphosphate works in your body. I want to teach how to actually fill up your personal training studio, how to get clients, right? Dude, I was getting rejection letters. And so I can be very stubborn. I was like, fuck them. I'll build my own stage, right? And so I created Fitness Business Summit. The first one, we had 108 people. Half of them were comped because they were my coaching clients. The other half paid $200 to come to a DoubleTree hotel, like no stage. And I realized like, fuck, I think I need a stage. Only the first 3 rows can see me. But 108 people, out of that 108 people, I got 15 new coaching clients at $1,800 a month into that mastermind. I saw how this could scale. For the next 10 years, I ran Fitness Business Summit. And at the peak year 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we had 1,300 to 1,500 people in attendance from all over the world, gym owners. I was giving away a car, a Land Rover every year. After that, after the first 5 years, I was making enough money. Like we would clear 7 figures in revenue. So the events would cost me about $250,000 for a 3-day event. I would clear 7 figures. I learned how to pitch and sell from stage. And so I would fill up that 7-Figure Formula Mastermind. I would give away a Land Rover to one of my coaching clients from the previous year. So 5 of them would get on stage, tell their story, social proof, you know, how they were broke, they were struggling, they were about to shut down their personal training studio. They did a Google search on fitness marketing and they reluctantly found, because no fucking personal trainer does searches for fitness marketing, personal trainer business, unless you're broke. We're all searching for more. How do I become a better trainer? So I knew that they were going to reluctantly find me. And when they did, I knew I had to speak to their fears, frustrations, and desires. This is what I learned from Dean Graziosi and Joe Polish.